I've been around the block. I mean, even with jiu-jitsu, I fought in Vegas. I came in second place for a 15 woman tournament. I lost to Nigel Easton, who is an amazing athlete. And now Sojara Eubanks was also there. I've actually beat her in tournaments. She's also beat me. We've gone back and forth, and she's fighting MMA now for Invicta. Like, I'm just wondering what it is I guess I'm missing that Invicta's looking for. That I mean, is it, how do they pick their fighters? Like, what do I not have, that they're looking for?
And
how, because I want to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've talked with your manager. Are you managed? Does your coach help you out in that area? How have you been trying to bridge that gap to break through? And I mean, I know you said you'll fight anybody. You just want to get in the cage and feel that desire. But do you have somebody helping you along to get to the next, as we would say, the next level?
Yeah. So I train at, well, 3 different gyms. One is IMBCT with Christopher Smith is one of my main gyms, and then Underdog MMA with Russell Leak is the other gym that I train at throughout the week. I'm at each 3 times a week at each, and then I also do a workout at CrossFit Oakville for just like lifting purposes with one of my old boxing coaches and training partners, Dustin LaBelle. So out of all of them, they've all been working to get me fights. Matt Bissett also, he trains at Underdog. He had been looking, and they scheduled me to fight Sarah Kaufman, who has a record of, she's like 17, or
Yes.
she's got tons of fight. And it was going to be up in Canada, and we were willing to do it. I was going to cut weight really fast just to get there, but it fell through. So that was a couple months ago. I went out to Vegas with Carlos just to do a little bit of training out there with some of the girls while he was fighting in what was that? Not Tough, the fighter show. I'm like blanking out.
Looking for a fight? No, Contender Series.
The Contender Series, yep, which he did awesome. He won, and that was an amazing experience. I got to network with people. I was training in Vegas.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
With Jessy, we were sparring and such, and I was kind of like, maybe I should be at a 145-pound weight class, 135, and Russell had been looking for 135, thinking maybe it's a better place for you. But at this point, it's really like, if it's going to be 135 or 145, we want to get me in the ring. And there was a time too where he was like, well, I don't want you fighting somebody who's like 30-1 or something like that, because you're 6-3. But there's girls that are out there that are 4-2. And like I said, Sarah Kaufman has a lot of fights, and I was going to fight her. So, let's just get a fight going.
Yeah. And I know Russell does a great job. And like you said, Matt's there. You have Carlos and who are some of the other supports at the other schools? Because I'm familiar to an extent, being here in Western Mass, being here in Southern New England. I'm familiar, but where are some of the other teammates that you have?
Christopher Smith is my coach from the IMBCT, and they're out of Waterbury, Connecticut. His daughter, Kate, is amazing. She's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and she's been my training partner since she's been, I think, like 11 or 12. She's like awesome. She's now going to be 21 soon. But, they're Chris Smith has been around the block, mainly in the Northeast. But we went out to Canada. He's the one who, I went out to fight Charmaine Tweet with Chris. So, I just really, need to get a fight.
Well, that would have been your second trip up to Canada then, right? Or second or third if you would have fought Sarah Kaufman there.
That would have been my second, but that was, I guess she's out of Alberta, Canada. So the last one was Saskatchewan. So it's actually called Regina. It was interesting. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is Regina.
That's great. Is there a difference between fighting in somebody's backyard, maybe, out of region, or compared to fighting in a different country? I mean, what was that like?
I think for me, it's more about the weight cut. So you're flying somewhere, and I'm sure this happens to a lot of fighters. I don't know if women seem a little bit more, it could be worse for them, but I'm cutting weight in a hotel room in the bathtub. Like, I'm lucky. I was like, thank God there's a bathtub, not a hot tub or anything. So you're cutting the water weight when you're flying. I really don't fly well, so I like to have water and salt, and it's only 2 days or 3 days out. So the weight cut was that was like the biggest issue when you're being flown out. I also fought Lizette Neary in San Diego twice, and that was interesting. I think we might have put some Epsom salt baths in one of the hot tubs, but don't tell anybody. I'm just kidding.
Why? Is that something you're not supposed to do?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It could potentially be a problem, but we don't know where. I won't tell you guys where we stayed, so
That's
hopefully
okay.
that
That's a good.
fine.
That's good.
It
That's
was a couple of years ago, so. But yeah, the weight cut is a little bit rough. You don't have a ride. You need somebody to drive you around everywhere. So that part, getting the supplies you need and all the materials, you can't really bring a whole bunch of stuff with you on the plane. They're probably not going to let me bring Epsom salt on the plane unless it's underneath. But
that's right.
so things like that, so that part is a little bit more difficult. Whereas fighting in Connecticut for reality fighting is great, and all my friends and family love to come. I had so many people that wanted to come for this January, but they weren't able to just find somebody for me to match up with.
Yeah.
But hopefully I can in June. I'm hoping that'd be awesome.
Where do you usually sit, or where are you sitting now, as far as weight and training camp, and what if you got a call and somebody said 140 or 135? Is that doable for you?
Yeah, what happens is actually the last 4 years I've had fought for reality in January,
Yep.
and one of them actually, the girl had to drop out, so it was very last minute, and it's very hard to get training partners during this season because it's
Yeah.
holiday, people don't want to. So my weight is usually I sit between like a 150 and 160, give or take, from a really good day to just enjoying a little bit more of the food that day. So, and I've also, been lifting some weight, so I'm seeing a difference with my body in a good way. But I can definitely go right to like a 140, 135. It would be nice to have a little bit more than like 2 to 3 weeks to
Yeah.
cut weight, because it's just dangerous for your body. And I don't want to. A lot of things I've gone through for weight cutting, and then if there's a fight and it drops out, it's just really depressing to put yourself through that
Yeah.
and have somebody drop out. So.
You fought mostly at 145. How did you feel strength-wise and condition-wise making the move down to 135?
I think one of the things that is a little rough for me is I also work a full-time job. So I do work 40 hours a week at Post University. And I am sitting a lot, and I've done at a standing desk and things to move around, but that's 40 hours out of my week where I am, not able to like do the things that I need to do.
Yeah.
I have a great sponsor, one of them, the Black Market Kitchen out of Watertown. I love them because they make meals for me, and they're just amazing because I can just take them, and like I don't have to worry about cooking, which takes 2 to 3 hours out of my week, even more, preparing food. And sometimes you prepare all this food on Sunday, and it's like by Wednesday you're like, I don't really want to eat chicken again.
Exactly.
So yeah, so it's just a little difficult to cut. I feel like if I only trained and that was it, and I was able to get health insurance doing that, because I would have to pay because I'm over 30 or 25, I think is the rule in Connecticut, right? Or overall. But yeah, if I was able to do that and maintain my lifestyle and training without a full-time job, then I don't see any issues with ever getting to a 135 comfortably. But I already am getting up early, going to the gym, going to work, and training at night, and managing to try to maintain my sleep time, because that's very important as well for weight cutting. So it is very difficult, but it's always doable. There's always a way.
I had the chance to video record you in 2015 in that ammo grappling tournament. In February, still rocking the red hair. Do you remember that tournament? And what type of grappling player are you now from then?
Yeah, I fought a couple. Jessica, I forget her last name.
Jessica
Adams, and Sarah, who also she fights for Bellator, right? So Sarah.
Sarah. Oh, goodness gracious, Sarah Payan.
Hey, yep, Payan. I was like, I probably could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were like the two main events. So that was cool. I got to play around with some different like leg locks and cutters. I like the grappling game where there's not really any limitations, minus a couple things, because it's very like comparative to the like fighting in the cage. There's pretty much everything's legal except for not everything, but from a jiu-jitsu standpoint, in the grappling standpoint. So it's kind of exciting to do like the no gis, but I always do believe that gi is very important. Chris Smith, he will tell you every day, most of the coaches will say gi is still very important. It definitely helps my game, but I just like to explore all the different options now, not just when you're a white belt. You're just kind of getting into like, how do I do a triangle? I still go to the basics always, but it's just fun to kind of play around with some new things.
You gotta have a solid foundation. I just mentioned it, the red hair. Well, explain it. Are you naturally redheaded or light or dark? Explain the red hair to me.
I dyed my hair red at one point for one of my earlier fights, and I think somebody was like, "Oh, you're the girl with the red hair." Like they just remembered me from their you fight. So I kept it like kind of going. Recently, I've been swimming, and it's
Okay.
been turning green. So now
Mm,
you can see there's a little purple in it, and it's black. But for right now, I just kind of I gotta avoid the green for work. I'm not really a fan of the green
right.
color.
That's right.
But yeah, the red hair will come back. Definitely come back soon. Especially if I have another fight coming up, I'll bring it back.
It's like a trademark. Do you feel like
Yeah,
maybe it's a trademark?
yeah. I'm a very colorful person. My clothes, they're all
No.
different colors all the time. So people, they laugh. They're like, "Oh, there's Jess. You could find her a mile away. She's
Yeah,
got the tie-dye shirt on or something." So
that's great. Follow us on Instagram. Watch us on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. Visit us on Twitter. And stay tuned.